기울고 어울러 유리고고 애도는 보스 이카.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends, strangers, and fellow wanderers, my name is Ellison Cruz, and believe it or not, it has been almost 9 years since the start of this project, and nearly 6 years since the release of the last episode. And I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I gotta tell you, I am in my 30s, man, but that is not going to stop the utmost joy and excitement I have in welcoming you back to Shadow of the Colossus. That's right, we're making our triumphant return on Aggro to take to the Forbidden Lands once again. And clearly things are a bit different within the Spectrum and the Mudrin era of gaming, as it were. As you know, the last 14 episodes of this series were recorded on PlayStation 3. It was the mid-2010s. There's not really much you could do about that fact. But we have officially migrated to the incredible power of the PS4 version, now being played on PlayStation 5. Go us. Hooray for the future, I suppose. And allegedly, this game was created from the ground up, for all intents and purposes. And I say allegedly, supposedly, because I feel like there are still some very strange quirks and oddities that have persisted throughout all versions of the game that are still here, and then some. I know this was primarily an effort to, save some assets and really be able to do this game justice, and believe me, it does a really good job of that most of the time. They've really dialed back on a lot of the things that I really didn't like in the PS3 version, like the excessive bloom lighting and some of the weird pop-in that we just witnessed right there. But for the most part, this is a very good version of the game, and especially with the frame rate settings that you can now apply, it's just a good time to be able to enjoy this in silky smooth 60 FPS, But if you really wanted to hit the nostalgia mode and relive the PS2 era, you could flip on the resolution enhancer, and that'll bring the frame rate back a couple decades, so it's a good time. Now, over the years, I may have in passing in some other series on the channel mentioned why this project has stalled for so long. And it's because I lost a pretty good chunk of commentary in a literal hard drive explosion on my laptop. One that my then girlfriend and now wife of 4 years bore witness to firsthand alongside me. It was really gnarly. There was smoking everywhere and it smelled like phosphorus. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But once I started getting into the headspace of potentially re-recording, big jump. The PS4 version was then released in 2018, and obviously I did want to switch to that. But it didn't quite pan out that way because I would have had to rebeat the game, 4 or 5 times to get back to where we were. And honestly, I just didn't really feel like it. So, yeah, these past few months have actually been pretty light on recording for me, and, I did promise I was going to finish through recording this in Ghost of Tsushima, where there's a pretty heavy-handed reference to this game in that, and playing this again has been such a delight. It is so good. For all of its shortcomings, the beauty absolutely does not let up. It's so good, and if they did a Last of Us Part 1 style remake for this, I would definitely do another video series again. And I don't know, that's not to say that, the PS4 version is bad or anything. It's actually pretty impressive, but still, it's a good time. But essentially, I have remaxed out my stamina and health, beat time attack for both normal and hard mode, unlocked all items, so we'll definitely be playing around with some of those, and made my way back up to this point in the series. So I will say, as we approach Colossus number 15, this guy is a bit of a jerk. It takes place in this Parthenon type arena / city perimeter. It's kind of unusual, but really cool, actually. It's a pretty epic fight when you take all things into consideration. And we are going to have to use the environment as much as we possibly can. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get started. So, without further ado, I present the Colossus, colloquially known as Argus, the penultimate Minotaur of the game, and he is real mad. Now, he has 3 sigils to stab, and the one that is exclusive to hard mode is right there on his chest, but we also have his head, as well as his hand, which, as you can see, is holding a mighty fine looking sword. So we're gonna have to find some way to get rid of it, but watch out for the big hits. And basically what you want to do is lure him over to the stone slab so that when he steps on it, it'll hoist us up to the next level. That'll help us get to the bridge behind him so we can ultimately jump on his head and start dealing out damage that way. If you fall at any point, you are going to have to redo this one step, but it really isn't all that bad. Just getting him to cooperate is sometimes a little tricky. And if he can just use his left leg to, this might be sketchy. Watch out, there we go. So he steps on it and this will allow us to hop right on up. But yeah, overall, not really that bad. Just sometimes getting him to do what you want is a little wonky. Specifically here, we're gonna have to sort of bait him into doing exactly what we want because he'll just wander off and not really pay us much mind. So maybe we'll get his attention. But what you wanna do is watch for him to sort of adjust his shoulder a little bit. You'll see him start to kind of like rotate it in its socket, and that's when you want to attack. So there we go. Once you do that, he will swipe. So anything you can do to instigate that, you should be fine. So be very careful so you don't have any of this stuff fall on you. And we now have a couple of stone blocks to stand up on. This middle section is probably the best way to go about getting up here. So let's go and do that, and very nice. So yeah, really not all that bad to get up to. It's just getting him to attack after you make him drop his sword is really the part that gives me some issues here. So we'll make our way over, and for some reason, Argus is just gonna be walking off, minding his own business. And I'm sorry to say, but we just can't have that happen. So, oh shoot, this was not where I thought it was. Just kidding. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna head to the bridge over here, and if you really want to, you can continue to bait him, but he will just try to destroy it on his own, so there we go. Just make sure he actually does try to destroy it. Just don't be on it when he does, otherwise you'll be in trouble. And so with the bridge down, Argus makes the inconceivable decision to walk on over and allow us to just barely be able to jump on his head. So, big jump, ooh! Okay, I kinda got like screwed over by the corner there, but we still made it. Let's do this before he tries to shake us off, and his head is down. Now we're gonna go for his chest, which is a little wonky because there's so much fur around here that, damn it, you usually end up getting caught on different parts of it. It's a little irritating actually, but there's his signature shakaroo, so we'll go and take care of that. And you can drop down from here and hit a weak point on the back of his left arm if you really want to. But you would need to use the flash arrows in order to hit it. Usually I will just try to do it while I'm up here just for a guaranteed hit, since the flash arrows are a little unreliable and slow. Plus a little bit cheap if you're playing time attack, because you can't use your items in time attack, right? Just in normal gameplay, but watch out for that. And as you can see by the glowing red, we can make our way down here, and all we have to do is give it a little mini stab. So without further ado, so long, sword. And this is where things are going to get a little hairy. He's going to be extremely aggressive and try to basically beat you down with whatever appendage he has left. So what you want him to do is give the good old-fashioned Donkey Kong signature ground pound with the hand he was just holding that sword in. And the issue isn't getting him to attack necessarily, since he does it often. It's being able to latch onto his hand fur, because if you try, sometimes you just end up, yeah, right now oh, excuse me. Okay, I fell off onto his fingers. That is the part I have issue with, is just being able to get a good grip on it. So we'll try it again. It usually takes me a couple tries, but he's just got a little stab to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hold on for dear life. Hope I don't accidentally nick his fingers, his disgusting phalanges, and... And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have one last Colossus to go before the end of the game. So once again, thank you all so much for watching, and join me here next time as we finish the game. We might not necessarily see the credits in the next episode, but there's still plenty for us to do. So my name is Ellison Cruz, and I cannot wait to finish this game once and for all, at least in a video format. Take care, and I'll see you here next time.